All right, I'm just going to sit right here just for a moment.
I'm 94 years old. I've survived wars, buried a wife I loved more than my own life, outlived my closest friends, and spent the last 60 years watching generations of boys try and fail to become men. I am going to tell you a harsh truth that modern psychologists, gentle parenting experts, and this soft society will never, ever admit to you, because it shatters the comfortable, warm little lie we've been selling to fathers for the last 3 decades. Look at my hands. They shake now, but they used to build. Now I look at the young men today. I see the way their eyes dart around, looking for an escape when the pressure hits. I hear it, the way my own son's voice trembled on the phone just last night. A 52-year-old man paralyzed by a world he doesn't know how to fight. The room is dead quiet right now, just the heavy ticking of my clock and the bitter smell of day-old black coffee. Do not scroll past this. Put your phone down and listen to an old man who has run out of time to lie, because I am about to show you why your desperate need to be a nice father, your obsession with being your son's best friend, is the most cowardly thing you can do, and it is the exact reason why good men raise weak, broken sons. It was the fall of 1974, late October. I can still smell it, that distinct bitter scent of dry, crushed grass on the high school football field, mixed with the damp dirt and the cold exhaust of my old Ford pickup truck. The sun was going down, casting long, sharp shadows across the bleachers. My son, Michael, was 16 years old. He was sitting in the passenger seat of my truck, covered in mud, sweat, and tears. Real heavy tears cutting through the dirt on his cheeks. He was trembling, his breathing ragged. His coach, a man named Miller, was a Korean War veteran, old school, unforgiving. He didn't care about the boys' feelings. He cared about their character. That afternoon he had run the team until half of them threw up, pushing them to the absolute limit to see who had iron in their blood and who had water. Michael broke. He looked at me with those wide, desperate, pleading eyes, begging me to let him quit. "He's too hard on me, Dad," he sobbed, clutching his helmet like a shield. "It's not fair. I can't take it anymore. Now you have to understand the trap I was in. The same trap you are in right now. I grew up with a father shaped by the Great Depression, a man made of cold stone. He never hugged me. So when I first held Michael, I made the same arrogant, foolish vow that millions of modern men make every single day. I am going to be my son's best friend. I will never let him suffer." Sitting in that truck, listening to my boy cry, my ego took the wheel. I wanted to be his savior. I wanted to be the nice guy. I wanted him to love me in that exact moment more than I wanted him to be strong. I marched right up to Coach Miller's cramped, sweat-stained office under the bleachers. I threw Michael's jersey onto his metal desk and told him we were done. Miller didn't yell. He just looked at me with this quiet, heavy pity. He lit a cigarette, blew the smoke toward the ceiling, and said, "John, the world outside this field is going to hit that boy a lot harder than I ever could, and when it does, he's going to look around for you to rescue him. You're stealing his calluses, John. What happens when you're in the ground?" I scoffed at him. I grabbed the release form. I can still hear the exact sharp sound my pen made, scratching across that cheap yellow paper. Scratch, scratch. It took 2 seconds. 2 seconds to sign away my son's resilience. When I got back to the truck, Michael let out this deep, shuddering breath, a sigh of pure relief. We drove off to get milkshakes, and I felt like Father of the Year. I felt so damn proud of myself. But looking back from this chair, with the brutal clarity of a dying man, I wasn't protecting him. I was protecting myself. I couldn't stomach the discomfort of watching my own blood struggle. That sigh of relief in the truck, that wasn't peace. That was the sound of his first layer of armor being completely stripped away. That was the exact moment his subconscious learned a lethal lesson. When things get painful, you don't fight. You cry victim, and someone will come to save you. And God forgive me, I was the one who handed him the blueprint for his own destruction. Fast forward 36 years. Last Friday night, 11:30 p.m., the house was dead quiet. Just the endless static of the television I forgot to turn off, and the cold rain lashing against the window panes. I was sitting right here, eating a tasteless frozen dinner by myself. Then the doorbell rang. One sharp, hesitant chime. I dragged my heavy bones to the front door, unlocked the deadbolt, and pulled it open. The damp night air hit my face, and there he was. It was Michael, 52 years old. His gray hair was plastered to his forehead. His shoulders, which should have been broad and proud by now, were slumped, folded inward like a beaten dog. He was dragging a cheap nylon suitcase behind him. The zipper was broken. He didn't look me in the eye. He just stared at my battered leather slippers and muttered, "Dad." Sarah kicked me out. The company downsized. I have nowhere else to go. He sat on that sofa right over there. For 2 hours I listened to a grown man, a man who should be leading a family, building a legacy, whine like a helpless child. He blamed the economy. He blamed his boss's fragile ego. He blamed his ex-wife for expecting too much. He blamed the politicians, the taxes, the weather. Not once, not a single time, did he say, "I messed up, I failed, and I need to fix it." He was just waiting for me to write a check, waiting for me to make the bad things go away, waiting for me to sign another permission slip to excuse him from the heavy lifting of life. I looked at his hands holding that glass, soft hands, unscarred hands, hands that had never been forced to hold on when the rope was tearing their skin. And suddenly the smell of the damp living room vanished. All I could smell was that dry, bitter grass from 1974. I realized with a sickness in my gut that I will carry to my grave that the broken man sitting on my sofa was the exact product of the nice father I tried to be. When you shield a boy from the wind, you don't stop the storm from coming. You just guarantee that when the hurricane finally hits, and believe me, it always hits, he won't have the roots to stand. I bought his temporary happiness with his permanent character. I stole his resilience just so I could feel like a hero. And now I am 94 years old, standing at the edge of eternity, and my deepest terror isn't dying. It's knowing that when I take my last breath, I am leaving behind a man who cannot survive without me. Listen to me, really listen. Why do we do this? Why do we soften the blows for our sons? We tell ourselves it's love. We read these modern books and call it breaking generational trauma. That is a beautiful, poetic lie. The truth, the ugly, uncomfortable truth, it is ego. Pure, fragile, selfish ego. We want the smiles. We want to be the hero at the dinner table. We are terrified, absolutely terrified, of our own children being angry with us. We can't stomach the temporary silence, the slamming of bedroom doors, the resentment in their eyes. So, what do? We negotiate with their weakness. We lower the bar. We become their buddies. But let me tell you something I learned too late. A father is not meant to be a buddy. A buddy hands you a beer when you fail and tells you it's not your fault. A father hands you a shovel and tells you to dig yourself out of the hole you created. The world outside your front door is a meat grinder. It does not care about your son's feelings. It does not care about his anxiety. It will test his competence, his spine, and his spirit without mercy. And if you have spent 18 years padding the walls of his life, the very first time he hits real concrete, he will shatter into 1,000 pieces. Tough love isn't about being cruel. It is the ultimate bleeding sacrifice of a man. It means you are willing to let your son hate you for a season so that he can survive for a lifetime. It means swallowing your own discomfort, standing quietly in the shadows, and watching him bleed a little, knowing with absolute certainty that the scar will become his armor. You cannot forge a sword on a pillow. You forge it in the fire, and fire always burns. So if you are watching this right now and your son is still young, or even if he is 30, 40 years old and still eating out of your fridge, listen to an old man who has zero time left for bullshit. You have to change course. Today, right now. Number 1, let them fail. Let them fall flat on their faces and scrape their knees to the bone. Stop paying off their credit card debts. Stop making calls to fix their mistakes. Stop buffering the consequences of their own stupidity. Pain is the only teacher that actually changes a man. Number 2, become a concrete wall, not a feather mattress. When they come to you crying about how unfair the boss is or how hard the economy is, do not join their little pity party. Look them dead in the eye and ask, yes, it is hard. Now, what are you going to do about it? Force them to carry the heavy wood. Number 3, demand accountability, not apologies. I don't want to hear, I'm sorry, Dad. I want to hear, I broke it, and here is how I will fix it. An apology is just a cheap tool to soothe your ego. Taking responsibility, that is the forging of an iron spine. Look at these hands again. They will be buried in the dirt soon. And let me tell you the final secret of a dying man. Your legacy, your real legacy, is not the house you leave behind. It's not the trust fund, the stock portfolio, or the vintage Mustang in the garage. Those things will rust, rot, and turn to dust. Your true legacy, the only thing that grants you the permission to close your eyes in peace when your time finally comes, is knowing that you have unleashed a capable, unbreakable man into the world. A man who can stand tall in the hurricane long after you are gone and cannot hold the umbrella for him anymore. Stop being his friend. Go be a father. It is going to hurt you more than it hurts him. Do it anyway.